welcome back to Newsmax Now. We want to welcome back Dr. Frieda Birnbaum. Thanks so much for sticking around. Real quickly, before we have to let you go, what would you say to mothers who are considering having children later in life?
I would say if you're healthy, if you will live long enough, if you are responsible, if this is something that's going to help and make a difference to a child being brought into the world, well, why not go for it? This is the way to do it. We are living longer, younger, and there's nothing that should stop you. You should know what you're capable. After all, there are younger mothers who have children who are not capable of doing so. But I just want to say, it's not only about me today, it's about Mother's Day and bonding with your mother when you have children and having the right experiences and talking to one another and hearing who that other person is, listening to your mother, who is she as a person, talking to your daughter, what are her questions about life, your son's questions about life, and having wonderful experiences together. That's really what it's all about. Then you have it all.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Newsmax Now, and happy Mother's Day to you.
Same to you. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, we don't want to interrupt any moms, but we do have an important update
that's
to get
difficult.
to.
That's bad karma.
Yes, exactly. Of course, we want to talk about the Iran nuclear deal, subject of our discussion today. The bill has now just passed the U.S. Senate just a few moments ago. There was a vote right before that that basically ended the debate, and that prevented Senators Marco Rubio and Tom Cotton from having any kind of discussion about those quote-unquote poison pill debates during this final phase of this vote. The bill now heads to the U.S. House, which will probably pass there, but this does give Congress more authority to at least review this Iranian nuclear deal. And the vote passed by a measure of 98-1. Cotton was the only senator to vote against that, so a big victory for Mitch McConnell, also for Senators Cardin and Bob Corker, who spearheaded this effort. But the New York Times here talking about this particular bill. The measure, which was approved 98-1, withstood months of tense negotiations, White House resistance, the indictment of one of its sponsors, New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, and a massive partisan kerfuffle over a speech to Congress by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
98-1, wow.
That is the New York Times. So a big deal. The U.S. Senate has passed that Iranian nuclear review deal. So Congress looks like will have an opportunity to review whatever the President and John Kerry sign off on.
Before that June 30th deadline, right?
Exactly. All right, also, we want to talk about today, want to wrap up with this. Today is the National Day of Prayer, tradition started by President Harry Truman. Now, this falls on the first Thursday of every May, and according to the Pew Research Center, it is customary for the President of the United States to encourage people to pray. But in an article in U.S. News and World Report, it claims that Americans won't say a prayer today. Many Americans won't. The history, again, of America's National Prayer Day goes back to 1952 when Harry Truman and Congress enacted the yearly observance. Some say it was a way to differentiate the U.S. from the Soviet Union, which made religion illegal. Nearly 6 decades later, the Freedom from Religion Foundation protested the National Day of Prayer. They filed a lawsuit, but in 2011, a federal appeals court ruled that the organization did not have any legal standing to challenge the law. And despite efforts by anti-religious groups, the fact is few Americans actually oppose National Prayer Day. Take a look at this. Now, according to Gallup from 2010, only 5% of respondents oppose the annual observance. In fact, a majority of people, 57%, are actually in favor of it. Meantime, President Obama continues to honor the tradition. In his official proclamation, the president says, quote, "Through prayer, we find the strength to do God's work, and in times of uncertainty or tragedy, Americans offer humble supplications for comfort for those who mourn, for healing for those who are sick, and for the protection of those who are in harm's way." So, even if you're not religious, either praying or taking a few moments to meditate and be conscious can help you calm down, take some deep breaths, and really help you move forward. As a Catholic, we have St. Anthony, who's who you pray to. Let's say if you're missing your car keys and you got to get out the door, you say a prayer to St. Anthony. And as a little kid, it was always seeming like magic. I couldn't find my baseball glove. My mom would say a prayer.
That was always the prayer that you would do.
Yeah, and now that I'm older, I still do it out of habit, but I find myself, once I say that prayer, I start thinking, and it makes you think, it makes you center yourself, and usually I remember where I left something.
So what does your daughter do?
In terms of...
Does she need that prayer too? Or
not quite yet.
No, she takes after her mom?
Yeah, she's a little bit more aware about where her things or belongings are.
She gets after her mom's, right?
Right,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Good response to that.
All right, well, it's been a pleasure having everybody
watching.
with us for the last hour. We're going to stick around for one more hour here, but following that, make sure you stay tuned to Newsmax TV to catch Midpoint coming up at 4 o'clock. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, catch the Steve Malzberg Show, and make sure you tune in to Newsmax Prime Time tonight, starting at 7 p.m., the Daily Wrap. 8 p.m., J.D. Hayworth will be with you with Newsmax Prime. And at 9 p.m., The Hard Line with Ed Berliner, and a big interview he got today with John McCain.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to hear everything that he has to talk about. He's going to be talking about the VA, ISIS, all sorts of stuff, so you have to tune in for that. Thanks so much for watching Newsmax Now.